What's going on, guys? Blazing here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me on another Raid Shadow Legends video. Alright, so we are continuing with the secret rooms, and today we are going to be working on room 5 of hard mode, right? And it's for the not dark phase, sorry. It's going to be for the Eternal Dragon rotation, which is rotation 2. Now, for this one, we have to use Ogryn tribe only. That makes it difficult. If there was anything else more difficult than this one, it would definitely be the one before it, which is stage 4, where you can only use rare spirit champions. That one's going to be fun. But let's talk about this room. Basically, what we're going to be using is a watered down version of our team for Faction Wars, right? Ogryn tribe lacks a lot of things, and the biggest thing it lacks is an AoE reviver, right? We have decreased defense, we have solid damage dealers, but revive is what we're lacking. So it makes it a little difficult trying to get this one done. But we will get it done, and I'm going to show you how. So let's get into the run. Alright, so for this one, I would really love to use my Bellower. Unfortunately, though, I can't because he is built a little squishy, right? I use him for a campaign farmer, and I use him for farming my minnow. But he will get wrecked, right? And that's because we don't have a solid reviver. The only thing we have is Ugo in the faction. So Plarium, next fusion, make it a reviver for Ogryn, please, for asking. We won't be able to bring him in, but we are still going to be using semi-accessible champions, right? The goal is to not use any void OP legendary champions or any void OP champions, right? So could we use our Ogryn? Sure, but we're not. Ogryn would definitely make it easier for us. So would Skull Crusher, right? So would bringing in our Biggin or, you know, our Ignatius or any of those other ones. They would definitely make it a lot easier for us. But we're not going to. We're not going to even be bringing in our Maneater. What we are going to be bringing in as our first pick is actually going to be Grush the Mangler. He won't be our lead, but Grush the Mangler brings in a lot of good utility, right? Bringing in heals, bringing in a decreased crit damage, bringing in a decreased attack. Pretty solid. Also AoE, so makes him a perfect candidate to bring in cruelty. Next up, we're going to bring in is our Ugo. Ugo is currently built for my Hydra team, right? For Nightmare. Pretty solid pick right there, right? Next up, I'm going to want to bring in an oldie, sorry, but a goodie one. Occult Brawler. Plarium, show him some love, please. Buff this guy. He used to be great for clan boss. Kind of fell off, you know, with the power creep and stuff, but definitely needs some love. Bring him up to scale a little bit more, you know, 2024 style. Give him something a little bit extra in his kit. Next up, I want to bring in somebody that, you know, I've been kind of underestimating until I started doing some of these account takeovers and looking, which is Claude Beastfeeder. He brings in an increased accuracy, brings in an increased speed, and also a shield, right? 20% of his max HP. That makes it pretty solid. And last but not least, I actually want to bring in somebody that we all get, and that's going to be Gerda Bogbrew, right? Not the most appealing champion to look at, right? But very, you know, underwhelming looking at the kit-wise, but could do so much for you, right? And so definitely somebody I would suggest, you know, you take a second look at. I wouldn't say give her books and masteries and stuff, but I would definitely say look at, you know, at least bringing her to 6-star and possibly building her out. So let's go ahead and start the run. Now, I will just let it play on auto. My biggest worry on this wave is actually going to be the Maneater, so we're going to focus him first to make sure that, you know, we can't lose the block debuffs. But we're going to try to take him out first. The Gurgos are going to be kind of a pain. You can see here, they will, you know, they'll strip the buffs and stuff, and they're pretty much the only damage dealer in this wave, right? And they're pretty much the reason why we can't bring in our Bellower. So I'm going to have this play out. I'm going to turn off the camera, play some music, and then I will catch you guys at the end of this. All right, so there we go. 4 minutes, 50 seconds, almost 5 minutes. Again, full auto, so it makes it a little easier for us. You could manual it to try to get it a little more optimized and done it quick. But, you know, for a one-time thing, I just rather set it and forget it. Now, biggest thing about this was making sure that our champions were built with enough survivability, and just letting the poisons do their work, right? Again, we couldn't really bring anybody else that was going to nuke because we don't have a good revive on this faction. So Gerda Bogbrew actually was really, really impressive here, not gonna lie, right? Pairing her with a Cult Brawler, keeping the turn meter down on a lot of these champions was really, really impressive. So let me show you guys the builds. All right, so we've got Ugo, and Ugo is currently in my Hydra team, my Nightmare Hydra team. She does need a little more love on the gear, guys. You can see not everything is fully maxed out, but it will be soon, right? I'm just waiting for another event where, you know, either a Deck of Fate where we can get enough points to bring up all the gear up to 12 that we need to. We recently just did a massive gear cleanse on the account, so we got rid of a lot of crap gear. So that said, though, let's get into what we have her built with. So we did build her with a Divine life set, right? So she's going to gain some HP from that and a shield. We did build her with a double perception set, right? Refresh accessories are going to work well for her if you have them, right? Counterattack, not so much. I mean, she does bring a leech, but, you know, you're not going to really be dependent on the leech too much, right? As for stats, what do we have? Well, when she's fully maxed out, she's going to be looking at about 78k HP, close to about 3.7k defense, but currently she's at 73k HP, 3.2k defense, 256 speed. We don't care about resistance, we don't care about crit damage, we don't care about crit rate. As for accuracy, she's currently at 437. Now these builds will be, you know, a little more evolved, I'll say, when we have her fully booked or fully geared up, right? As for the books, if you have your Ugo, you're going to book her, right? She is a solid champion to have, and you're going to use her. Now, as for the blessing, because we use it for Hydra, we put her in Miracle Heal. I am thinking probably of changing her now because she's got a 5-star, so I may look to put her in Cruelty, right? As for Masteries, what did we do? Well, we went down and we took Unshakable because we were looking to do a full damage or a full resist team for Hydra to not have to worry about the builds, but that's not going to work out well for us. So we will be switching that out, and we will be taking Eagle Eye, right? You could go down and take your standard Clan Boss Masteries for War Master. That's really up to you if you're going to use it anywhere else. But for myself, I'm going to bring her down, and I'm going to put Eagle Eye up, right? Next, we took Master Hexer. We did take Evil Eye. We did take Lore of Steel. We did take Swarm Smiter, and we did take Arcane Celerity. We will be continuing everything else that she currently has in the defense tree. So we will take Retribution, we will take a Cycle of Revenge, we will take Delay of Death, along with Resurgent. All right, so let's talk about a Cult Brawler, an oldie but a goodie. Very solid kit, you know, was definitely a great Clan Boss champion to have back in the day, but now has been kind of power creeped, right? Also, really good for Ice Golem, believe it or not, because he can block revive the ads. So, what did we build him with? Well, we've got him in a Resilience, Speed, and Immortal set. I think you're catching my drift with this guy, right? Basically, counterattack accessories are going to be the best for him, right? Because of the A1. Now, stats-wise, what we cared for was building him as tanky as possible. So, 68k HP, 2.6k defense, 234 speed, crit rate and crit damage we don't care about, right? We care about the passive. Resistance, not really necessary. Accuracy, 424, right? Booking wise, do you need to book him? Not really. The passive doesn't need to be booked. The A1 does help. The A2, not really going to help, right? It gets a cooldown reduction, and it does all these other things contingent on how many debuffs he's got. But the block revive is going to happen regardless, and everything else is going to happen regardless. You just gain more damage. So the A2 doesn't really matter. So would you really want to book him? Not really. Cruelty is what we did take for him. There could be something else to take, but we haven't really figured anything else out that's a little bit better for him currently. As for Masteries, we did go down and we took standard Clan Boss Masteries. Ignore this Shield Breaker. We were trying to do some funky stuff in Arena. Did not work, I'll tell you that. But we did go down and we took War Master. We did take Methodical. We did take Bring It Down. We also did take Cycle of Violence, right? We did take Life Drinker along with Single Out. As for the support tree, we did go ahead and we took Master Hexer. We did take Sniper. It is worth taking Cycle of Magic, right? Trying to reset the cooldown of the A2. We did take Swarm Smiter along with Charged Focus. Let's go ahead now and bring up our boy Grush the Mangler. He is a login reward champion who right now is very underwhelming, and that's because he has been power crept. But I remember back in the day, a lot of people were using him as their healer in Clan Boss, right? Was bringing in a leech, was bringing in the heals, decrease attack, very solid back in the day for traditional Clan Boss teams, which you don't see quite a bit now, right? Which, you know, that gets me up to a whole nother video. But we currently have him built with an Immortal team and a Defiant, 2 Immortal pieces, and a Defiant set, right? Counterattack accessories are going to work well for him, right? He does bring in the leech on the A1, so it can help you. Is it really necessary? No. Refresh is probably going to be better for him, right? As for stats, what did we do? Well, we got him at 51k HP, not as much as I would really love to have, right? I'd really like to try to push it closer to 60, 65k. Defense-wise, we do have him actually at 3.2k defense. Speed-wise, he's kind of low at 202. Ideally, I want to try to beef him up for endgame content closer to 225. Crit rate, we do have 100%. Crit damage, 156. They are not necessary. They are a luxury to have in the build, right? Absolutely not necessary. Resistance at 204, not needed. Accuracy at 301. 350 would be better for us to be able to complete most of this stuff with peace of mind. As for skills-wise, we do have him fully booked. Do you need him fully booked? Because he does take a lot of books, right? So the A1 basically is going to give you an increased chance of placing the leech 25%. So you're going to have a 75% of placing the leech. Depending on what else you're going to use him for, the A1 is worth booking, right? If you're going to use him for Clan Boss, you want that sustainability on the leech, right? The A2, that's going to give you a decreased attack on a 4-turn cooldown with a decreased crit damage. That is kind of long. Is it worth booking for, you know, a total of 75%? Not even actually, because it's 60% of placing with 100%. So it's 100%, sorry. On a 4-turn cooldown, it's a little long, right? So definitely not really worth booking. Now, the A3, right, brings it down to a 4-turn cooldown, and you gain damage on it. Not really necessary. I feel like he's one of those champions that definitely needs to be buffed. You know, you got to show him some love, player. Bring the cooldowns down to a 3, or give him an extra turn in the kit to be able to reduce the cooldowns, right? Cruelty is what we did take for him. He has AoE on both the A2 and the A3, so it made sense, right? Masteries-wise, we did take basically masteries with one thing to change, right? These would be standard Clan Boss masteries, but we did take War Master, we did go Methodical, we did take Bring It Down. Wow, tongue twister. Single Out along with Heart of Glory and Keen Strike with Deadly Precision. As for the support tree, we did take Sniper, we did take Master Hexer along with Evil Eye, we did take Lord of Steel, we did take Swarm Smiter. Now, this one is going to be the one where if you're using him for a speed tune specific for Clan Boss, you don't want to take Rapid Response, you actually want to take Life Drinker, right? But for this, because we just use him for our Faction Wars, in this, we have him built with Rapid Response to get some more turn meter because he is built kind of slow. And then we also did take Charge Focus and for Pinpoint Accuracy. All right, Claude Beast Reader. Now, this guy was very, very sleeper to me. I've kind of overlooked him quite a bit. And, you know, it wasn't until I did an account takeover where somebody was using him. And I'm like, well, why are you using him? Then I started paying attention to his kit. And I was like, okay, I could definitely see this for Faction Wars. So, we did build him with a double Immortal set and a single speed set, right? Are they necessary? The faction itself suffers from revivers and good healers, so I would say if you can put at least 1 or 2 on, go for it. Refresh accessories are going to be the best for him unless you have him speed tuned, right? As for stats, what are we looking at? Well, we have ours built with 95, almost 96k HP, so a 20% shield of that should be roughly about 18,000, right? Defense is 2.5. Once I actually fully glyph out his gear and everything, I could probably get it closer to 3. Speed-wise is 232, right? I'm happy with that because it is above the 225 that I want to have for the endgame content. Accuracy is not existent. We don't really need it. Resistance, same thing. We don't really need it. If you want to put it in the build, it is optional and a luxury, in my opinion. Crit rate and crit damage, definitely not needed. As for books, you can see we don't have the A1 booked. We actually lucked out and got the cooldowns on the A2 and the A3. Those do help. The A3 comes down to a 3-turn cooldown, which makes it very suitable for clan boss, right? Always being consistent. The A2 brings it down to a 3-turn cooldown as well. Also makes it very consistent for clan boss. So if you can get it, great. If not, you know, he still will work well for this, right? And the A1 bringing that decreased crit rate could help you in certain cases, especially for clan boss when he starts smacking, right? As for blessings, currently I would probably say either what is the word that I'm looking for here? Cruelty, or maybe Iron Will, but it really depends on what cases we're going to be using him for, right? If we're using him for clan boss, then we probably want to take Phantom Touch. As for masteries, we actually don't have any. You know, it really depends on what you want to build him for. If you are going to build him with clan boss, you want to go offense and defense. He's not really going to gain a lot from support, whether that be, you know, refresh on the cycle of magic, maybe lifesteal, but I feel like you probably go offense and defense. So if you want a build suggested for that, feel free to DM me in Discord and we can help you out. Now we have the lovely lass Gerda Bogbrew. And I mean, I know, she is actually, if you guys didn't know, she is the sister to Lady Annabelle, right? Just the much uglier sister. So Gerda Bogbrew, very underwhelming, but could definitely do a lot for your account if you have her built properly, right? Poisons, decreased turn meter, is actually able to solo some dungeons. So, you know, if you don't have a Battle Khazard or a Tomb Lord, she can definitely help you out. So we'll see about getting some content done on her on the channel. As for the build, we have her built in a regen and speed set, right? Counterattack accessories are going to work out well for her because of her A1, right? As for the stats, what did we build her with? Unfortunately, I couldn't get her any higher on the HP, but 57k HP. Ideally, I'd want to try to get it closer to like 70, right? Being a legendary champion, 70 to 80k, especially if we're going to try to use her in some content to solo. 3.5k defense is pretty solid. I could probably sacrifice some of the defense to go a little bit more on the HP. 240 speed, ideally. 250 would be best, right? Especially because of the poisons that she brings into the team. Crit rate and crit damage, we don't care for. Resistance doesn't really matter. Accuracy, 361 is what we currently have. Remember, 350 for endgame stuff works well. As for skills, we do not have her fully booked. Could she benefit from books? Of course. Is she worth booking? It really depends on what you currently have on your account. You saw in this, she did fairly well for us and did not really need the books. Brimstone is what we did take. She has accuracy. She is a legendary champion. It makes sense. As for masteries, do you need them? We don't have any. Could they help? Of course. What would you take? It really depends on the build. You know, you would definitely want to do standard clan boss masteries if you're going to use it for general PvE purposes, right? So you come down and take War Master, you take Methodical, you definitely take Bring It Down along with Single Out. You definitely take Life Drinker with Heart of Glory along with Keen Strike and Deadly Precision. Now, if you were to use her as a solo farmer, that would be a little bit different. So then you'd come down and you would take actually Oppressor, you would definitely take Spirit Haste, you would definitely take Sniper, definitely take Lore of Steel along with Cycle of Magic. You would definitely take Swarm Smiter along with Arcane Celerity, Charge Focus, and Pinpoint Accuracy. So there you have it, guys. The Stage 5 Secret Room is done. The team is not, you know, consisting of any crazy OP champions. The builds were, you know, some were a little hard to obtain, but you don't need to go that crazy with them. You know, as long as you have good, solid builds, and remember that it's always stats over sets, you should be fine, right? You may have to manual the run, but you see that this team works, so you should be okay. So, as always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.